Over the last couple months, we have had a bunch of interesting cases come through the chute, and today's the day where we follow up and see how we did. Welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. First up was this girl, and we did not have to look far to find the problem. After a little bit of trimming, we discovered that she had what we call a sole fracture, and that's when that sole actually pulls away from that heel bulb. We used a lot of chlorhexidine and trimmed away a lot of that loose horn that was around that area. We cleaned it up really well and wrapped her with salicylic acid. A couple weeks later, we came back, and this is what it looked like. Not pretty, I would say. However, after we got it all cleaned up, it looked way, way better. So once again, we gave her a salicylic acid wrap, and now we're back about a month later to see how it is. First thing we can tell, this block has got to go. It's starting to wear. Regardless of what that other claw looks like, we're going to take this block off and replace it if need be. And that baby is really on there. Now, you might think it would just be a lot easier to grind that thing off, but the way that that rubber is, it really doesn't grind that well. So the best thing to do is just keep prying away and pop that glue free, and eventually it comes off. So what I'm looking to do here on this recheck is just make sure we don't have any digital dermatitis that's still there. That's going to keep this from healing. There is a little bit in between those two claws. You might be able to see there. And then I'm just going to trim this up, make sure I've got the correct sole thicknesses across both claws. As we move in a little closer, we can see that that sole is looking much better now. We've got some decent depth there after the last couple months, which is good considering the way that it looked. This heel bulb still got a little bit of work there left to do before that's all healed up nice. This area here, this little yellowish, pinkish area, that's just some residue that was in that hoof horn when it was created due to that problem that we had. There's a nice white horn underneath that, so that's a good sign. These brown spots, nothing to be concerned with. I'm not going to go digging for those. Once again, that's just on the surface. We're going to get this sprayed down really well and get her wrapped once again to take care of any of that digital dermatitis that's still remaining there. It's always nice to watch them moseying away, so much more comfortable than they were in that first trim when they were in such rough shape. Now, we got this girl. Remember her? She had a problem. We thought we fixed it. Well, we did fix it, actually, and then she ended up getting a new puncture. Now, even though the puncture itself was not very big, it resulted in a lot of horn separation. You can see here, basically, that entire solar area from that spot all the way up came free. There was some digital dermatitis up above there, so we sprayed it down really well, and we treated both that digital dermatitis up above and that puncture site as well. Now, the follow-up for this one is only 2 weeks later, and it's amazing the improvement that she made. Now, obviously, in this video, I'd already done all the trimming on this recheck, so you're just getting to see the end result of that, but we've got all that dermatitis that was up above. All those patches are now clean. As we work our way down, we can see where that original puncture site was right there. That itself, too, has healed over nice. We've got some decent depth on this claw. Exciting. Now on to our next one. Yes, the rock that poked its way through. This one caused some problems, but we got her on the mend as well. Once again with this one, that little rock caused quite a bit of separation. But we wrapped her up and now we're back about 2.5, almost 3 months later with this one. Now why this late? Because this is a smaller farm. I don't make visits to this farm nearly as often just because there's not as many cows to trim there. But we're back now and you can see she healed up pretty well as well. That block had come off, but apparently she didn't need it because it's all healed up. Now, on to our next one. Yes. We had some heel bulb separation, and up underneath that, well, there's a lesion. Right up here is that lesion in question. Now with this one, we used a new block. We were testing it out, a little bit thicker, a little bit larger size. Wanted to see if that extra elevation would help the healing process. See that lesion there? We wrapped it with salicylic acid, and now we're back, in this case, 1 month later, to see how it is. Take a look at that, and you can see there's still a little bit of dermatitis there, which I was surprised by. I figured if that block did stay on, and it did its job, that dermatitis would heal up. But as you can see, there's still a little bit there. We're going to get this all trimmed up, and then we'll investigate it a little closer. Well, it's certainly much improved, but there is still a little bit there. So how did the block perform? Well, if we take a look at the side profile, it held its shape really well, didn't wear too much, which is exactly what I want. I want a nice soft block that doesn't wear, so it maintains its shape, keeps that foot in the right position. So I'm going to say it passed the test. We're going to give this foot a wrap up. This should do it with this one. That dermatitis should be gone, and on the next visit, we'll pop the block off on her. Next up, this girl we saw earlier this spring, and this video was titled "The Worst Hoof I've Seen in a Long Time." And for obvious reasons, this one was a doozy. In fact, I can't even show you it all right here because of how severe it actually was at the time. But we got it all treated, wrapped it up. Actually, in that first video, we did see the follow-up as well. Here you can see her leaving the chute. She was not walking very well even after that. 3 weeks later, you can see what it looks like. Not great right now, but believe me, this was a drastic improvement. We gave her a wrap, and once again, we brought her back. You can see how much better she's walking right there. Now we're back 3 weeks later once again, and this area is really starting to close in nicely. Once again, we cleaned it up and wrapped it and let her go. Now we're back about 2 months later, 2.5 months later from that time, and she is doing much better. That block is off. We're going to get this all trimmed up and get a good look at it. I will put a link to all of the original videos in the description below. In case you didn't get to see them, you can watch them in their entirety and see the progress that these cows have made. Now with this one, I don't want to get too carried away with the trim here. All I'm doing is checking this medial claw to make sure there's no signs of stress in that one from having that block on the whole time. You can see this is healed up quite well. It's impressive. However, a lot of times there's pedal bone malformations because of these, so she may not be out of the woods yet. But that's going to do it, guys. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.